Okay, so hello everyone. In today's crash course, we will learn pandas. Okay, so in this video, in this complete crash course, we will complete pandas. Okay, so means what we are going to see in pandas, and this tutorial or this crash course is for what? So this crash course is for beginners to intermediate. Okay, so the person who want to start their data science journey, so that student can learn from this crash course. Okay, so what we will see in this crash course, we will see creating data sets, reading tabular data, cleaning messy values. Okay, like how we can clean the data. We will discuss this as well in this crash course, and we will discussing about selecting rows and columns, right? How we can select individual row and columns. Then we will discuss some filtering operations with certain conditions. Okay. Then we will see grouping and summarizing. Okay. How we can group the data and how we can summarize the data. So we'll discuss on it. And then we will discuss about merging data sets. Okay. Like how we can merge the data sets. We will discuss on this. Okay. And then we will discuss creating interview ready insights. Okay. So we will discuss some like mostly asked interview questions, right? And then we will discuss about building small mini projects to practice pandas, right? So this is our motive for this crash course. Let me show you more. Apart from this, what are the topics we are going to cover? What is the roadmap of this particular crash course? So you will see, okay? So what you are going to see in this crash course, right? So we will discuss about why why pandas is important in data science, okay? Pandas series versus data frame. Okay, so this is one of the favorite interviewer questions. Okay, and next we will discuss about importing libraries and creating data sets, then understanding data frame syntax clearly. We will discuss about reading and exporting data, right? Inspecting data like a data analyst, selecting columns and rows, filtering data using conditions, sorting and ranking data. We will discuss about adding, updating and deleting columns. We will discuss about handling missing values on the data. We will discuss about handling duplicates, right? Okay, so then we will see working with data types. Okay, so we will see different data types, and we will see the string operations in pandas. Then we will discuss about date and time operations, which is also important for the interview point of view. Group by and aggregation we will see. Pivot table and cross table analysis we will see. Then we will discuss about apply, map and lambda functions. Okay, this is also one of the important topic as per the interview, as per the pandas crash course. Okay, merging and joining data sets we will discuss. We'll discuss basic visualization. Okay, using pandas. We will see the mini project. Okay, it's student performance analysis. Okay, then we will see some interview revision notes. Okay, then practice task. Okay, so this is all we are going to cover, right? Okay, so do not feel hurry if you are in so hurry. So please have patience because it will take some time to complete. Okay, so if you are thinking like anything you can learn so fast, if you will learn something so fast, it will go very fast from your brain. Okay, so practice is required. So do not watch this video as a video, but watch it as a training, like you are training your brain muscles in pandas. Okay, so we will work together, right? So let me just start it. Okay, so let's read it what is written here. Okay, so what is written here means Before we start, what problem does Panda solve? Okay, so Python list and NumPy arrays. Python list and NumPy arrays are powerful, but real world data is usually stored in table. Okay, so table means row and columns. Real world data is stored in the row and column format. Pandas help us work with this type of table easily, right? So in tabular format, you can easily work with pandas. Okay, so there could be some question asked in the interview like why pandas is used in data science. Okay, so this is not a theoretical tutorial or theoretical crash course. It is including practical as well, but we will go step by step. We are not going to skip the important thing. Okay, so why pandas is used in data science means, so with pandas you can load data from CSV. CSV means comma separated value, and Excel, SQL and JSON. Okay, so if your data in the form of CSV or Excel format or SQL or JSON or maybe HTML, okay, so all the data can be loaded using what? Using pandas, right? So how you will give the answer to the interviewers? So first line you can tell, right? And the second line is why panda used in data science means clean missing or incorrect data. Okay, so it is help us to clean or incorrect the missing, I mean clean or incorrect data. So it help us to clean the data basically. Then why pandas is important means it can filter records based on business rules. Okay, so if you want to apply certain condition on a particular data points or some employees or some students, then you can use filters operations in pandas. Then after that, it is help us to group the data and calculate summaries. Okay, so if you want, I have 10 lakhs rows in the data set, and if you want summary of those data, okay, so you can use pandas. Okay, and next is prepare data for machine learning. Okay, so if you are creating, if you are building machine learning model, okay, ML model, if you are building, so in order to build the ML data, I mean ML model, so what you need data, right? And data could be messy and incorrect. So what you have to do, you have to clean the data, right? If you will clean the data, on the clean data, you can create what? You can prepare machine learning model. Okay, so prepare data for machine learning, right? So with pandas, we can do this, create quick report and visualization. Okay, for the visualization, basically we use what? We use matplotlib and seaborn, but uh, in order to deal with data, in order to handle the missing values from the data, we required pandas so that we can use the visualization. We can create the visualization on the top of that. I hope you are understanding, guys. Okay, so let's go more deeper into it. Okay, so let's discuss a quick interview question. Okay, pandas is a Python library used for data manipulation and analysis, right? So manipulation and analysis you can do with pandas, especially for structured tabular data, especially for structured tabular data. So these are the 3 points you have to remember: manipulation, analysis, and structured tabular data, right? So now there is a important question: what's the difference between series and data frame? So you can see pandas has two important data structure. One is series, second one is data frame. Okay, a series is like a single column. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the student name. So this is a single column, and here you can see multiple names. So this is what? This is series. Understanding, guys? So this is what? Series. So what is series? single column data. Okay. And what about data frame? Let's discuss about it. So data frame means, just a minute. Okay. So see, the data frame is what? A data frame is like a full table with rows and columns. Okay. So when we talk about series, so in series you will see one column. Let's suppose student name. Okay. So like ABC, XYZ. So this is what one column data. So this is what series. Whereas data frame, it is like tabular data. So here you can see column 1 and you can see column 2 and you can see column 3. And this is we can say row 1, row 2 and row 3. Basically rows start from 0 and column also start from 0. But for the understanding purpose, I am telling you this. Okay. So you can see this very beautiful definition of this series and data frame. Okay, quick memory trick to understand it. Series is what? One column. Okay, series having one column, whereas data frame has complete table. Okay, one column means series, complete table means data frame. Okay, so when we work with pandas, so we will import few important libraries. Okay, let's talk about them. So important required libraries, one is pandas we will use, right? So this is a syntax, and numpy we have already seen in the last crash course. We have discussed numpy in detail. So NumPy we will use, and we will use matplotlib for the basic visualization. Okay, so but our core focus is on pandas. Okay, NumPy we will use a little bit. Okay, a NumPy we will use because we have already discussed this in the previous crash course, and the matplotlib we will use a very less use we will do in matplotlib because our main agenda is pandas. Okay, so explanation, let's see. Pandas is important. Pandas is imported as PD because because this is the standard shortcut. Okay, so if you will writing pandas, so how many letters are there? Six letters. When you are writing PD, so it's two letter. Okay, so it's easy to call pandas as PD. Okay, so this is both are the same name. You can say this is the nickname. PD is a nickname of pandas, whereas NumPy having nickname which is NP, whereas matplotlib dot pyplot having nickname which is PLT. Okay, so this is just a nickname or you can say short name. Okay, that's it guys. And let's see, let's code it. Okay, so first of all, what we will do, basically we will import these three libraries. Okay, if you want to import these three libraries, you can import. Otherwise, you can work with single library, which is pandas, because as of now we will discuss pandas only. So let's open the Colab. Okay, so basically we will work on Colab, right? So how to open Colab? So what I will do, okay, so I will open my browser, and in my browser I will type here colab.new. Okay, so the moment you will write colab.new, so it will open, okay, Colab notebook for you. Okay, whereas where we can practice our pandas. Okay, so you can close this and you can make it like full size. Okay, you can add more cells, right? And if you're not getting this interface, So you might getting sign up. Okay, if you are coming first time on Colab, so it will ask sign up. So you have to sign up. Then after that, you can create a new notebook and you will see the similar interface, right? Okay. So now what we have to do, let's discuss it. Okay, so what we have to do now, we have to import the libraries. Okay, so let's try to import the library. So the first library name is, okay, so import pandas as PD. Okay, next library name is import numpy as NP. After that, import matplotlib.pyplot. Okay, pyplot as PLT. Okay, so these are the short names. Let's execute it and let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, so it is working as you can see here. And if you want to see like output of this, so what you can do, you can import this line. Means if these all libraries execute properly, then it will print this. Okay, so इस type का message it will display. Okay, okay, so creating our student performance data set. Okay, so we will create a function, I mean functional data set for student enroll in learning program. Okay, so what our data set will contain? Our data set will contain student name, batch, city, Python marks, SQL marks, static marks like that. Okay, so what we will do, we will create the data set like this. Okay, so here you can see this is the Python dictionary. This is just a Python dictionary, and this dictionary we will convert into data frame. Okay, so what I will do, I will just copy this. Okay, and I will just paste it here. And you can see this is the basically names. Okay, random names and random batches name, cities. Okay, and then you can see this is the Python marks, SQL marks, statistics marks, projects marks, attendance, okay, submitted assignments and enrollment dates. Okay, so this is the data set. So I will execute it whether it's working or not. Yeah, so it's working. It's giving us green symbol. Okay, after that I have to convert this dictionary. Basically, this is a dictionary. If I will write here type data, so you can see it is a dictionary. Which type it is? It is the dictionary type. So I have to convert it into the data frame. Okay, if you want to take the screenshot, you can take the screenshot. Otherwise, I will provide this data to you. Okay, otherwise any like Excel you can import. Okay, but as of now you just take some data like this for practice. Okay, next what we have to do, we have to convert this data into the data frame. So in order to convert data into data frame, we need PD. PD is what? PD is what? PD is pandas, small name. Okay, panda short name is what? PD. So what we will do, we will write here PD dot data frame. Okay, and in the data frame, we will write the data. Okay, and it will give us what it will give us, it will give us data frame. So df is a variable which indicate to the data frame. So we have written the df as a data frame. So df I am creating as a variable which represent to the data frame. So let's execute it. So you can see it has executed. So if you want to see the data frame, so you will write here df and execute it. Okay, so can you see this data frame? Data frame is what? Is a tabular format. Data frame is a row and column combination. Okay, so can you see the data frame? Yeah. So if you want to see the type of df, if you will check the type of df, so what it is saying, it is a data frame, right? So it is a data frame. Earlier it was what, a dictionary. Earlier data was dictionary. So what we have done, we have converted dictionary into the data frame. So now you can see it is more readable. Okay, whereas it is less readable, but this is more readable. Understanding, guys? Okay, next is what we have to do. Okay, so PD means Pandas library shortcut. Data frame means function used to create a table. Data means dictionary containing columns and values, or you can say key and value pair. And df is what, variable name where we store the data. Okay, most data analysts use df as a short name for data frame, right? Now, checking basic information about data before analysis, always inspect the data set. Okay, this is important because real data sets may contain missing value, okay, wrong data types, duplicate records, spelling issue, unnecessary columns. A good data scientist first understand the data before jumping into analysis. Okay, so what we have to do, first of all, we have to look into the data set whether it is correct or not. So for that, what we can do, we can use head and tail function. So when you will use head function, so it will display first 5 rows by default, and if you will use the tail function, so it will show last 5 rows by default. Okay, but you can pass a number inside it like df3. So when you will write the default number, it will give those number of rows. So let's analyze the data to see. Okay, so what we will do, we will write here df dot head. Df is what, data frame. So by default, how many rows it will display? It will displays 5 top rows. Okay, let's run it. So it is displaying top 5 rows starting from 0 to 4. Okay, and if you will write here 2, so how many rows it will display now? 2 rows. By default, it display 5 rows. Okay, by default. Okay, by default displays 5 rows. Okay, next is tell. Okay, so if I will write tell, okay, on data frame, we can apply this operation. These methods we can apply on data frame. So from bottom, it is displaying how many rows? 5 rows. Okay, if you want default, df dot tail, right? And if you will write here 3, so now this time it is displaying 3 rows from bottom. Okay, so this is how we can look into our data and we can check whether the information is correct or not, whether city name is correctly written or not, or some data is missing or not. Okay, so that thing we can do. Next we have sample. Sample means it will display the random values. Okay, so how we will work with sample? So if we will write df dot sample and parenthesis, so you will see by default it will display one sample record. Okay, but if you want more than once, okay, I'm saying sample means random records. So you can see right now it is showing ninth row, and if you will run again, so third row it is showing, 13th row it is showing. So like that it is giving random. But if you want more than one, okay, if you will write, if you want more than one random rows, so you will write sample dot I mean df dot sample and the parameter. Okay, if you will run it again, it will give random rows. Okay, after that, checking shape, column and index. Okay, so we have to know about our data well. So for that, we can check the shape of the data, number of columns in our data. Okay, and we will check the index. So shape tells number of rows and columns in dataset. Columns shows column names. Okay, so what are the column names are there? Index shows row label. Okay, so like how it does display. So it is displaying rows, 15 rows and 10 columns, and it is displaying the column name. Column name is student, batch, city, like that. Okay, indexing, it is displaying. So indexing is starting with 0 and stopping 15. 15 means uh, stop before 15, means 15 minus 1 means it will exclude for 15, it will go up to 14, and it is taking each step. Okay, let's try to do it. So df dot shape. Okay, so how many rows? Okay, shape is not parenthesis. So 15 rows and 10 column. Okay, how do you know 15 rows? So if you will write here df, you can say 0 to 14. Okay, 0 to 14 is what? Index. This is the index. So can you see here, starting with 0, ending with 14, and step is 1. Okay, so what I have written here, df dot shape. So df dot shape means 15 rows and 10 columns. Okay, and if you want to check the columns name on your data frame, so you will write df dot columns. Okay, so when you write the df dot columns, so it will tell total number of columns. Right now our data set is very small, so it is easy to identify the number of columns and their name. But when the data set is like huge, then it's important to know the specific column names. So df dot index. Okay, df dot, what is it? Index, right? So if you will write df dot index, so it is telling starting with 0, ending 15, means 15 minus 1, 14, and it is taking one step, right? So we understood about shape, column, and index, right? So now let's talk about using info. Info, what is the use of info? Okay, so the syntax is df dot info. Why it is useful? So we can say info tells us number of rows, column names, no, and non-null values, data types, and memory usage. So these 5 things tell by the info method. Okay, so you can see here, if I will write here info, df.info, so what it is telling, it is telling us this is first of all data frame, so it is telling me data type, and then after that it is telling index range, so 0 to 14. Okay, next what it is telling, data columns, so how many columns are there? 10 columns. And what it is telling, it is telling column names, right? And it is telling non-null values. Okay, and it is telling each column type, so these are the objects types, and then integer type, then again object types, right? So it is telling the information, and it is also telling the memory usage. Okay, so what I will do, I will write here df dot info. Okay, so you can see it is telling all the details regarding our data frame, right? So it is telling all the information. If you want quick summary of the data, you can use info. Okay, quick details it tells. Okay, summary statistics with describe. Okay, so how you can get the statistics summary? So you will write df dot describe. So what is the use of df dot describe? So describe gives statistical summary for numerical column. Okay, like what it will give? It will give count, mean it will give, standard deviation it will give, minimum, quartiles, and maximum it will give. Okay, so this is one of the fastest way to understand numerical data. Okay, so when you write df dot describe, so what it will give? It will give count. Okay, so what is the count? 15. Okay, SQL marks count is 15. Okay, so it is giving the mean, standard deviation it is giving, and minimum 25%, 55%, and 75%, and maximum. So it is telling the like maximum marks is what 95, right? And 50% students is having 82 marks. Okay, so like that it is telling. So let me just create more shells, and I will write here df dot describe. Okay, if I will write df dot describe, so you can see it is giving the statistic summary. Okay, so this is we can see statistic information regarding our data, right? And next is what? Selecting columns. Okay, select column is one of the most common pandas operation. Think of it like selecting a specific column from an Excel sheet, selecting one column. So how you will select? You will write syntax. What is the syntax? df, and in the square bracket you will write the column name. So important is what? Selecting one column returns a series. Okay, one column is what? Series. So if I will write here df dot, okay, so if I write df column, and what is the column name? Python. Okay, if I write column, so you can see this is the Python column it is displaying, right? Okay, so can we check the type of this? Can we check the type of this? If we will check the type of this, so are we really getting series or not? So what it is saying? It is saying series data type. Okay, so let me just add it. Df Python. So you can see it is displaying one column, and one column generally treated as series in pandas. Okay, next we will try to select multiple columns. Okay, so column 1 and column 2. Okay, so how do we write it? So notice the double square brackets. So data frame and list of columns we write, and list of columns we write in the square brackets. Selecting multiple columns return our data frame. Okay, as we already know, data frame is like a multiple columns and rows. So it will give the right. So it will give what? It will give a data frame. So how to use it? So we can write df, and in the df we have to pass a list, and in the list we will mention the column. So first we want Python column, and then next we want what is another column? SQL column and project column. So next column is SQL. Okay, and then next column is project. Okay, so like this. So what it is saying? Project is not an index. So let's see it. Okay, so the spelling mistake. I mean, we are writing in capital case. So let's write it in proper way. Okay, now let's run it. So it is displaying us three columns. Okay, so if you will write here dot head. Okay, so how many columns it will display? It will display top five. I mean, top five rows it will display. And if you will write here two, so it will display two rows. Okay, so multiple operations also you can perform at once, right? And if you will check the type of this, if you will check the type of this, so it is what? It is data frame type. Okay, so let's check the type. So it is what? It is type is what? Data frame. Understood, guys? Next is what? Selecting row with lock and I. So this is one of the important function in pandas. Okay, so now let's talk about okay, selecting what? Selecting rows with lock and iLock. Okay, so these are the two methods which you have to understand it very clearly. because most of the questions in the interview ask from this. Okay, so what is written here? Pandas gives two main ways to select rows. Okay, so what are the two main ways? One is lock, second one is iLock. Okay, so what is lock? Label based selection. Okay, so lock work on based on label. Okay, so this is what label based selection. And when we talk about iLock, I means indexing. Okay, position based selection. Okay, so you can see here easy trick to remember. So what is the trick? Lock means label location and iLock means integer. Okay, so iLock means integer location, right? Now, how to use it practically? Let's see it. Okay, so what is the syntax for iLock? Okay, let's talk about iLock. So the syntax for iLock is, first of all, we have to take data frame dot iLock. Then what we will write? We will write the row position and then we will write the column position. Okay, so you can see here. So when I'm writing here iLock and I am giving one argument only. So this select the first row. Okay. So if you are giving here 0, so it is for row. And what it will select? It will select the first row. Okay. So how does it select the first row? Let's see it. Okay. So here you can see when I've written here iLog 0. So, okay. So it has selected. Okay. So it has selected the first row. Okay, so what it has selected? It is selected the first row, but you might be confused like how it is selecting first row. So you can see this is the first row which it has selected vertically. Okay, so this is what vertically and this is what horizontally. So this is the horizontal row in the table, what it is selecting it vertically. Okay, so let me show you with demo so that you can get more clarity into it. So let's go to the Colab and let's try to, okay, so let's try to fetch few rows first. So df dot head. Okay, so what we write in order to fetch few rows? Head. By default it will give how many rows? Tell me how many rows it will give. It will give 5 rows by default. But if I give the argument here like 4, so how many rows it is giving? 4 rows. If I give here argument which is 3, so it will give 3 rows. Okay, so we are talking about iLock. So iLock means it will select this first row. Okay, so let's write here df, which is data frame, and iLock, and in square bracket we will write the row. Okay, zeroth row. So what is the zeroth row? This one is the zeroth row. Okay, so let me just execute it, and you can see here student name is what? Alex. First row student name is Alex. Okay, what is the batch? Batch is first. What is the city? City is this. What is the Python marks? Python marks is 88. And you can see here what is the Python marks? 88. So like that it is selecting row. I hope it is clear to you guys. Now what it is showing? Selecting multiple rows with iLock. Okay. So selecting multiple rows with iLock means here you will write the start and here you will write the end. Like Python slicing, the end position is not included. So end position will not include, but before that it will include. So 0 to 5 means how many rows? 0 to 4 rows, right? So it is what? Position based selection of rows. Okay. So if I write here, let's write here first df dot head to get the default rows. Okay. Now df dot ilog and write the start position. So what is the start position? I am saying 0, 0 up to how much? I want to select 0, 1, 2 and this third row. Till third row I want to print. So what I will write? I will write here 4 because 4 will be excluded. But before 4, what is before 4? 3. So 3 will be included. So if I will run this, so you can see it is showing us this 3 rows. Okay. So if I write here 6, then it will go 0 to 5. Okay. So this is how we can use ilog for slicing. Right. Now let's talk about log function. Okay. So how we can use log. So what we need to write? We need to write here row label and then column label. Okay. Currently our row labels are 0, 1, 2, 3, so. Okay, so on. Log and ilog may look similar. Okay, but log is based on label while ilog based on the position. Okay, so what I will do, I will say a zeroth row. First argument is what? Zeroth row. And the column, what is the column? Column is what? Student. So first row, okay, column is what? Student. So you can see this is the first row. And what's the column? Column is what? Student. Okay. So first row, first column is what is the data? Alex. So let's try to do it. So df dot log and we will write here zeroth and the first row name, first column name is student. Okay. And if I write here, let's suppose if I write here attendance. Okay. So what it is showing? It is showing 92. Okay. And if you want to see it clearly, you can write it inside the print function. Okay. So what it is showing? 92. Right. So this is how we can work with log and ilog. Okay. Now let's talk about filtering data with condition. Okay. Filtering means selecting rows that satisfy a condition. Okay. So example questions are like which student scored above 85 in Python? Which students have attendance below 75%? Which student did not submit the assignment? Okay, so this kind of filtering we have to do. So for that, what we can do, we can use this type of, okay, this type of filtering we can use. So this is a syntax from in the data frame. We are selecting a particular column from the data frame and we are checking the value with relational operator. Okay, so how it works? So if we will write here df python greater than 18, so currents true and false values pandas then keeps only rows where the condition is true. Okay, so what we can say, we will write this. Okay, in the Python, we will see greater than 18, 85. So this Alex is greater than 85. Cherish is also greater than 85. Okay, Fiona is also greater than 95. I mean 85. And who will not come? Okay, so so this is the records of the students who are having greater than 85 in Python. Okay, so what we are doing, we have to create the variable. So let's keep the variable name as same, high Python. Okay, high Python. Okay, so high Python is a variable name. So in the data frame, what we will write? We will write data frame again. Okay, here we will write which column you want to select, Python column. Okay, so which condition filtering you want to use? I want to use greater than 85. Okay, so now let's try to execute it. So you will get nothing because this variable, so the data is stored in this variable. So if you will print this hi underscore python, so what it will do, it will give the students who scored greater than 85, more than 85. Okay, so if you will see the total students, so how you can see, you can print df. So df, these are the total student. So bela you cannot see because it is less than 86, I mean less than 85. So you can see bela is not there. Okay, uh and the person, you can see here Georgie. So Georgie is also not listed here because the score of Python is below 85. That is why it is not coming. Okay. So this is how this filtering work. Now let's talk about multiple conditions with ampersand. Okay. So what we will do, what is the syntax? We will write data frame, condition 1 and condition 2. So what is the important point here? Use parenthesis around each condition. Whenever you are combining two conditions, keep the condition in the parenthesis as you can see in the syntax, right? And you can use and symbol. So this means is what and operation we are performing, right? So for example, we are checking the student who scored more than 85 in Python, the student who got more than 90% attendance, right? So those students we want. So such students are what? Strong and regular. So if I want strong and regular student from the data set, so how can I get? So I need to use two conditions. For strong means we are taking the Python condition. For regularity, we are taking the attendance condition, right? So data frame, okay, data frame, and inside the data frame, we will write two condition followed by and, right? So what is the condition? Is strong. How you will say a person is strong? What you will write? You will write this condition, okay? So what is the condition? df, okay, and Python, right? Greater than 85. The student who scored more than 85 and df attendance, okay, attendance is greater than 90, right? So such students we want, okay? So let's execute it. So it has executed, okay? So now what can I do? I can print this strong and regular. Okay, now execute this. So you can see these are the students who is having it more than 85 scored in Python and more than 95, okay, more than 90% attendance. Okay, if I say 95, okay, so if I say 95, then you can see less student will come. Okay, so this is kind of multiple conditions we can apply. Okay, so right now what we are doing, we are learning the use cases, right? So when we will learn the EDA, when we will create the machine learning models, so these techniques will definitely help us to clean the data or check the data or understand the data. These operations will definitely help, right? Now, this is one of the important condition, guys. So listen carefully, everyone. So what is this? Multiple condition with or. Okay, this pipe symbol is basically or symbol. Okay, so this pipe symbol means or symbol. So what if similarly we will write one condition followed by another condition. In between there is a pipe symbol. Okay, so what we are writing here? If the attendance is below 75 and assignment submission is no. So such students we want. Okay. attendance below 75 or assignment is no. Okay, so how we can get that? Okay, so when we use the AND operation, so both condition must be true, right? But when we are using OR operation, so either of the condition is true will work. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here, let's see here. So needs attention. So we want such students, those required attention. So how we can get those students? So let's create a variable. So needs, sorry, what's the name? Needs attention. Attention. So this is our variable name, and we write, we will filter such students based on OR condition from the data frame. So df, in the df condition 1 or condition 2, both condition. What is the first condition? df, and here we will write what we will write, attendance. Okay, so let's write attendance. Okay, and we will write the condition attendance below 75. So such students need what? Attention. And one more condition is what? One more condition is submitted assignments. If submission assignment is no, so those also required what? Those also required what? Attention. Okay, so what we will write? Data frame assignment. Okay, submitted. Let's copy the name from here. Let's paste it here. Okay, so this is what? Submitted assignment, right? So let's execute it. Okay, so execute it successfully. Now what we have to do, basically to get the output, I need to write this name separately and execute it one more time. So you can see these are the students required attention. Okay, so what is, okay, so the condition I have written here wrongly. I have to mention here assignment submission is no. So you can see these many students required attention, right? And if I write greater than 75, attendance is good, but assignment submission is what? No. Okay, so why this yes is coming? Because they are fulfilling the attendance criteria. So you can see the attendance is 96. Attendance is fine, but the assignment submission is okay. So either of the condition is true, it will come. Okay, so you can see here this person is having greater than attendance is greater than 75, so it can come. Okay, so you can see this person, the attendance is less than 75, but assignment submission is no, so that is why these come. But this doesn't make any sense. I was just telling you the meaning of this OR means one of the conditions should be true for the output. So this does make sense, right? So next is what? Filtering with is in. So what is this is in? So use is in when you want to match multiple values from a list. Okay, so for example, what we will write here, df, and then again data frame and column name is in value 1 comma value 2. For example, you can see here data frame and we are taking batch. So you can see there is a batch column. So is in a comma c. Okay, and we are writing head. So in this column, if a is present and c is present, those rows we have to print, right? Use when you want to match multiple values. Okay, so a and c in multiple records we want to match. So this is what we can, this is how we can use df, right? So let's use it. So df colon, I mean df square bracket, and then again df and the column name, for example batch, right? And here what we will write is in. Okay, so what we are writing is in, and after that we will write here a list a comma c. Okay, so these two variables in the list. Okay, and can we execute it? Yeah. So you can see these many rows containing a and c. Okay, so if you want to use here head, so it will give only five such rows containing a and c. What if I use here sample? Okay, so sample cannot be used. Okay, sample can be used. Yeah. So what it is giving? It is giving one random row which is containing a and c. Okay, a and c only it will come. Right? If you will give here 5, so it will select 5 random rows containing A and C. Right? So this is just a basic chaining, right? Okay. Next is, okay, so now let's talk about storing, I mean sorting and ranking. So what is the mean of sorting and ranking? Sorting help us identify top performers, weak areas, and positive cases. I mean priority cases. Okay, so we can sort the data. So how we can sort it? Sorting values. So what is the syntax? Df sort underscore values, and by you will write the column name. Okay, and for descending order, what you can do? Sort underscore values method you will use, and by column name and ascending false. So it will sort in descending order, right? So let's sort it. Let me create multiple cells, and what we will write here, df dot sort values, and after that what we need to mention? We need to mention by column name, right? So for example, it has given column name is what? Project. So based on project it should sort, right? So let's try to do it by project. Okay, so you can see here, so it is giving me if you will check the project, so 59 62 like that it's coming. And if you want to use it, okay, if you want to means display the data in descending order based on this project column, what you can do, you can write here, okay, df dot sort underscore values, and you can write here by and column name project, right? And you can write comma ascending. So what is written here? Ascending is false. Okay. So this is ascending is false. So you can see the first highest value of the project is coming on top. Okay. So bottom to top it is coming. Okay. So high values are coming first, then lower values are coming at bottom. Okay. So I hope you're understanding this, right? Now let's try to understand the ranking. Okay, ranking and students, I mean student ranking. So what we will do, rank 1 means highest score when ascending is false. So what we will write, df column, then dot rank function, and ascending false. Ascending false means rank 1 means highest score when ascending false. So what we can do, we can write here, we can select the project column, okay, and dot rank ascending false. Method is what? Dense. Okay, S type is what? Integer. Okay, so let's try to do it. So let's try to do it. So basically you can see here what I'm using. I'm using here ranking method. And after that we are writing ascending false. Okay, let's try to do it step by step. We will not write this complete code because it will make the confusion, and let's try to break it down. Okay, so let's do not write this in this function and do not write this. Okay, so let's try to execute it. So execute it successfully, right? And after that what we have to do. Okay, so in this second line, what they are doing, they are writing the column names. Okay, and after that, they are writing sort. Okay, so we are not writing the sort, just we are writing the column name. Okay, try to make it simple. Okay, so now let's try to execute. So what we are getting this project rank. So you can see 9 is what lowest rank, and highest rank is what? This 6. Not 6, but this highest rank is rank 1. But are you getting any order here? So for that, what we can do, we can use the sort. Okay, and sort based on project rank. Okay, sort we already used. So similarly here also we can use. So sort underscore values, right? Based on what? By what? By the project rank. Right? Does it make sense? Yeah. So it is coming like this, right? Okay. So now let's just try to make it integers. Can you see? Is it coming as integer? No, it's coming decimal. So can I write here as type? Okay, S type is what? S type is what? Integer. So we can write here int. So can you see? And now our we can say rank is coming decimal, right? So rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay. So like that it is showing. But what is the mean of this ascending false and method dense? Okay, so let me tell you what is the mean of dense. So you can see what does it means by method dense. Dense ranking gives the same rank to the equal values or does not skip the next rank. For example, you can see here project marks are what? 95, but one student, two student having the same project marks, 92 and 93. So if you are writing method as dense, so what it will do, it will take ranking, I mean 95 is what ranking 1, 92 is ranking 2, and 92 is again ranking 2, and the 88 will become 3. Okay, but if you will not use dense here, then 88 will become 4. The rank will become 4. Why? Because it will consider is what was one rank, two rank, and it will again consider is at another rank, right? So it will become kind of 3. Okay, what I'm trying to say here, what you will see if you will not use the dense. So if you will not see the if you will not use the dense, so this will be the rank 1, this will be the rank 2, this will be the rank 2, and this will become 4, and this will become 5. Because what it will do, it is skipping one value. So you can see here, two students scored 92. So both get rank 2. The next score is 88, gets rank 3. So 88 is getting rank 3, not 4. Okay, so not 4. So method dance is useful for creating a clean leaderboard without missing rank number. So it will not miss the rank number. That is why what we are using dense. Fortunately, right now we use this data set. In this data set, there is no the same rank values. Okay, so all are the distinct values. So that is why it is giving the distinct rank. Right. So head 10 means it means it will display the 10 records. Okay, ascending false means it will not follow the ascending order basically. So what order it should follow? It should follow the sorting order. Okay, based on project rank. Right. So I hope you are understanding it. Now the next thing is creating new column. So in data science, we often create a new column from existing column. Okay, so from the existing column, what we are creating? A new column. When you're creating a new column from the existing column, that is known as technically feature engineering. Feature engineering is what? Creating a new column from the existing column. Okay, for example, total marks, average score, pass fail status, performance category. Okay, creating total and average score. Okay, so how to create? Syntax df, and here you will write the new column name and you will write the expression. Okay, explanation is what? The left side creates a new column, means this side create a new column. The right side calculates the value for that column. Okay, so here what you want to do, you want to create the, like calculate the average, minimum, or whatever you want to calculate. Right. For example, we are creating a column. Okay, so if I write here df dot columns df, and if I write here df dot columns, right? So you can see here we have these many columns. Do we have any total score column? Do we have any total score column? No, right? So what we want to do, we want to create a column in this data frame. What is the name of the column? Total underscore score. Okay, so this we are going to create, and how after, okay, so here we have written the new column. Now here we will write the expression. So expression is what? We are adding the total of means each subject marks we are calculating, right? So this is how what we are doing. We are creating one new column. Okay, for what? For the total. Let's try to execute it. Now let's write df dot columns. Okay, so did you get total score column? Yes, we got the total score column. After that, let's create another column which is df, and the column name is average score. Okay, so let's write here average underscore score. Okay, so what is the calculation of average score? So here is what? df total divided by 4, because how many columns are there? 4 columns. Okay, total. So then total divided by 4, right? So here we will write here df, right? Total. Okay, total divided by 4, right? Okay, so now let's see again df dot columns. Okay, so can you see average score also created? Right. Now next one is what we are doing. We are going to print the values, okay, of these columns. Okay, not we are not printing all the columns, but we are printing required columns only. So what we will write df. Okay, because this is just a printing column names, but here we will print column data as well. So df first is student, we are going to print. Next one is total score, we are going to print. Next one is average score, right? So these many we want to print, and head if you want to mention, you can mention. So it will select only 5 rows. what happened? So, okay, so we have to write double square brackets for that. Okay, so it will take a moment to execute. After that, next is creating a performance category. So what is the mean of this? We will discuss. Okay, so let's try to fix the error. So what the mistake we have done? Student is correctly written. Total score is correct. Average score is also correct, I guess. So it will take a little more time to execute. Let's try to execute on a different cell. Okay, so let's write it here. Okay, so let's see this. Till then, okay, it has loaded. Okay, so yeah, it's working fine. Okay, so you can see it is showing the total and it is showing the average. Okay, so now here it is giving the five top rows only, and it is displaying total and average. So we have successfully added two columns in our data set, right? Okay, so let's try to read it once, then I'll tell you this. Okay, so create a performance category. What is the mean of this? We will categorize student based on average score. So what's the logic we are going to apply? So average means if average is greater than 85, so student is what? In excellent, I mean excellent category. And if student average is greater than 75, then it is good category. Greater than 65, need practice, and below 65, support required. Okay, so these kind of conditions we are going to put here. So what we are going to do, we are creating a function. You can see here, what is the function name? Performance label, right? And here what we are sending average. So who is calling this function? Basically, this function is called performance average. Okay, so let me just check it out. Like, is this code working or not? Yeah, code is working, but how this is calling performance level? Okay, so it is calling from here. Okay. Okay, so basically what is happening here, if you will notice, so we have written here df average score. So we are targeting average score column, right? So average score column, we are applied apply function over it. So what apply function will do? Apply function will take one score from average column and it will put it into the performance label. So it is what calling performance label by passing average score, and the apply function is giving that average score, right? So what is the mean of it and how does it working? So you can see like this performance label and 88 is coming. So how this 88 coming? Apply function is taking that 88 from average score and passing into performance label. Okay, so that is why you can see here if the so once it gets the average, it will send into the performance label. So in the performance label, the performance label function will call and it will check if the average is following this condition or not. If it is following this condition, it will return. And where it will return? It will return to here. Okay, from it is where it is falling, it will return there and it will put it on performance label column. Okay, and we can accordingly filter, right? So you can see this is the good performance, and this is the excellent performance. Okay, because it is following the condition, right? So this is the thing. So the apply is for taking the average score and passing in the performance label function and calling performance label function, right? So I hope you're understanding it, right? So guys, practice with me. If you will practice more and more, so you will get more clarity. Okay, why apply is useful? So what is the syntax? We write the column and we use apply and the function name on which function we are going to applying this function. So explanation is what apply send each value from a column into a function, right? What I was telling you, the same has written in this line. The function return a new value. This is helpful when the logic is more detailed than simple arithmetic. Okay, so interview tip is what apply is a flexible but can be slower on very large data set compared to vectorized operation. Okay, so this is you can keep in mind. Now next thing is what updating and deleting columns. Okay, sometime we need to rename or update the columns. Okay, so let's try to understand this. Okay, so now let's talk about renaming columns. Okay, so how we can change the name of the columns, or we can say old column to new column, right? What we are doing, we are changing the name old to new, right? So what is the syntax? The syntax is you will write df dot rename, and after that in parentheses you will write the columns, okay, as a attribute, and here you will pass key and value. Okay, so key is what old column and the value is what new column. Okay, so by default it returns a new data frame unless we in place equals to true or assign it back, right? So what will happen basically? So you can see here submitted assignment. Okay, so this is a column submitted assignments. So I'm changing. So this one is old. So this old I'm changing with new. So what is the new name? Assignment submitted, right? So you can see now here. So now the column name is what? Assignment submitted, right? Earlier submitted assignment, but now is what? Assignment submitted. So let's try to do it practically. Okay. So let's see the column name first. So how we get the columns? df dot columns. Okay. So these are the columns. So submitted assignment name is there. I have to change it. So for that, I will write df.rename. Okay, so let me just make it full size. Okay, so now you can see here df dot rename. Okay, and after that, we will write columns, and in the columns, we will write the old column name. So what is our old column name? Any column we can change, but here we are trying to change submitted assignment. Okay, so we'll keep it in the double quotation, and we will change it with what is the new name? So new name we are giving this, right? So let's give this. Okay, and after that, let's execute it. So set object is not callable. Okay, so we have to store it in the df again. Okay, what's the issue? Okay, so here in dictionary, what we write? We write colon. Okay, key and value separated by this colon, right? So this is what we are getting. So if we will write here df dot columns, right? So you can see here now the column name is assignment submitted. Earlier it was submitted assignments. Okay, so these are the small things we should know when we are working on the data set, right? So after that, now we should learn how to drop a column, right? So we will use here drop, and here we will pass a list of column. We will create a copy and drop the rank column only from the copy, right? So what we are doing basically here, we are creating df without rank. Means this df without rank is what a variable. Okay, or we can say this is the copy of this df. Okay, so in order to play safe side, we are creating copy of it. Okay, so df without rank. Okay, so you can see as of now we have project rank column in our data frame, but we are creating a new data frame without project rank column. So how we can do this? We will use here df.drop. Okay, so we will write here df.drop. Okay, and after that we will write the column. Okay, so after that in columns we can mention the project, I mean the column name, whichever we want to remove. So here list of columns. In the list of columns we will mention our column name, which is project rank. So you can see I'm just copy it from here and I will paste it here. Okay, so it works. Okay, so now let's try to check the column of this. So df without, okay, df without rank dot columns. Okay, so this is how we can get the column. So can you see, is there any project rank column? So no, right? So this is how we can remove the columns. Hope you're understanding, guys. So these are the small operations. Once you will be know the new concept and small concepts, then only you will be able to handle the messy and large data, right? Now, handling the missing values. So, handling the missing values is one of the important part of EDA. So, if you want to create a machine learning model, so your data should be clean. Okay. So, basically, what happen when there is a data, when we get the data, right? No? So, this data generally is what raw data. Okay. So, this data uh, can be coming from the banks, from we can say DMarts or any of the marts, right? So what we will do, we will clean the data. We clean the data, right? After cleaning the data, what we do, we create the ML model. Okay, because you cannot build machine learning model on the raw data, right, or unclean data, right? So let's see handle. Okay. Okay, so student skipped the test. So this is what, this is the missing value. Real world data is rarely perfect. Okay, so it's very low chances that real world data will be perfect. Missing values are common in the data, and on the missing values we cannot train the model, right? So missing values may happen because of, for example, if there are 34 students, and out of 34 students, 30 student has given the test and 4 student has not given the test. So this 4 is what, missing values, or we can say missing values, or we can say missing data, right? So we have to perform some operation in order to handling this missing data, right? And data was not entered. Okay, it could be happen like management did not enter the data properly or missed some columns, and system failed while recording values, right? And survey response was incomplete. Okay, pandas represent missing values as NaN. Okay, not a number. Okay, so it represent what? NaN. So creating a small messy data set. So what we will do, we'll create a small messy data set. We will internationally create missing values to learn cleaning. Okay, not internationally, because this is what, intentionally. I'm sorry for mispronunciation. Let me just clean it. Okay, so you can see this is a small data set, and here you can see np.nan, because we are writing here missing value. So let's try to create this data set. Okay, this is a small one. You can also create this. So this is the messy data. So this data in the form of dictionary. Okay, check the type of messy data. So you can say this is the dictionary format. What we have to do, we have to convert it into the data frame. Okay, so what is the, how we can convert? pd dot data frame. Okay, and here what we will write? We will write the messy underscore data, right? And let's create a variable called messy data. Okay, we are storing it again in the messy data. So now the messy data, this is the dictionary, but here it will become the data frame. Okay, so now let's try to see this messy data. Okay, so you can see here we have record 1 full information, but in record 2 Python marks is not available, and here in record 3 SQL marks are not available, and in record 5 Python marks again not available. So like that we have missing data. Now what we have to do, we have to handle the missing value. Okay, so finding missing values. So in order to finding the missing value, what we can use is null, and is null dot sum we can use. Okay, so is null gives true and false for missing values, right? Sum counts how many missing values are present in each column. Okay, so it will give the column report. So if you will write messy data frame dot is null, so it will give null values, and sum will count the, it will tell two values missing in Python column, one value is missing in SQL column, two record missing, two values missing in attendance column. Okay, so what to write? Okay, so what is the variable name? So variable name is messy underscore data, right? And is, what we have to write is null. So you can see, so when there is no missing value, it is giving the false. When there is a missing value, it is giving true, right? So per column, how many missing values are there? So in Python, you can say three values are missing. I mean, four values are missing in Python. Okay, so you can in Python. Okay, true. True means missing values. False means value is available. True means missing value. So one and two. So two values are missing. So I want to see the count per column. So how we can do this? Let's take more cells. And here I will write messy underscore data dot is null dot sum function we are using. So you can see in Python column, there are two values are missing. In SQL, one value is missing. In attendance, two values are again missing, right? So it's pretty simple, but it is useful, right? Okay. Now, like if there is a missing data, so you cannot leave the missing data as it is. You need to work on it. You need to resolve it, right? So for that, what we will do, filling missing values. So how to fill the missing values? So there is a function called fill now. Okay, how we can use? We will write the column name and we will write the fill now. Common choice, generally we fill the missing values with 0 or we fill the missing value with mean, nothing but we keep the average. Okay, next one is median and next one is mode. Okay, so these are the common choice to fill the missing values with these values. Okay, for marks, using the mean can be reasonable beginner label choice. Okay, so this is a beginner label choice if you are keeping mean, right? So what we are doing, the missing values in Python. So how many missing values are there? Two missing values. So we will take the mean of those values and we will take the mean of all the values. Okay, all the marks we will take the mean and we will fill it with mean. So how, what is the syntax? So the syntax is dot fill now. Okay, so column name dot fill NA. Okay, so let's try to do it here. df. Okay, so what is this? First of all, we have to write the data frame name, messy data. Okay, in the messy data, we have Python column, messy df. Okay, so we have created the column name as data. So messy data. In the messy data, we have Python column, and in the Python column, what we are going to do, we are going to apply fill NA. So right here, fill NA dot fill NA, and after that, we will write the again, I mean data frame name. So what's the data frame name? Messy data, right? And here we will take Python column values. So we will write here Python and we will take the mean of those values, right? So this is how we will fill and we will restore this column data. Okay, so we will restore, right? So we will restore the updated values. So we will write here messy underscore data. Now let's see the messy data. Okay, so you can see now there is no missing value in Python. I mean Python marks, there is no missing values because the missing value filled by what? Mean. If you will take the total and divide by number of candidates, so it will give the mean and the mean would be 76.6. You can see here 76.6 would be the mean, right? Okay. So similarly, let's work with SQL. But if you will see the, okay, so okay, so we don't need to, I mean, we did something wrong here. What we have to do basically, we have to update the Python column, not all the data. What we have done, we have updated entire data frame, which is wrong. So for that, I need to run it again. Okay, I need to create the data set once again. Okay, type will be dictionary only, converting into data frame. So let's write here. Okay, messy data. Okay, we'll keep it messy data, no problem. This is also messy data, and here it will display the all the columns. Here also it will display the missing values count. Okay, so this is again we have done the wrong because I should not execute this. We have to write here Python because we are updating one column, not all the data. Again, I did the mistake. So let's execute it one more time. Execute it one more time. Again, execute. Again, execute this. Okay, execute this. Execute this. And execute this. And now execute this. So you can see here Python is not having missing values, but SQL is having the missing values. So let's try to remove the missing value from the SQL as we already know. So first of all, we write the data frame name. So messy underscore data. Here we will write the column whichever we want to update. So SQL column. Now we will update it. We will reassign it with what we will write messy underscore data. Then what we will write? We will write here fill NA. So fill NA we will write after writing the column name dot fill NA, right? And messy data, right? And column name SQL, and we will take the mean of all values, right? Now execute. Now see the messy data. Okay. So can you see this is also have cleaned earlier here in third column, I mean third row, it was showing NaN. So now it is showing the mean value, right? Here also, okay, 79. Okay, only one place was missing. So it is showing it has filled with mean. Similarly, attendance also we have to fill. So what to do? Let's write messy data and attendance. After that, again messy data and then attendance. After that, dot fill NA messy data, right? Attendance and dot mean. Okay, now let's see the messy data. So you can see we have resolved the issue. We have resolved the issue. In last row, you can see attendance column was NaN, but now it is what 91.8. What is this 91.8? This is the average of all students' attendance, right? So what is the next thing? Okay, so there is one function which is drop NA. So dropping missing values. In order to dropping missing values, we will write df dot drop NA. Okay, so this remove rows containing missing values. Be careful, dropping rows can reduce your data set and may remove useful information. Okay, so for example, in your company has given the employee data set, and in the employee data set, there are so many columns, but you feel like it is not important column for you. but it could be very highly important for your company. So you cannot remove any column without informing the company. So we should be very careful, or we should write a mail or drop a mail before removing the column. If you're working on any organization data set, you should ask first whether we can remove this column or not, right? So drop anna is used to remove the columns. Okay. So example only original messy data recreated for demonstration. Okay. So what we are doing here, sample missing. So we are creating a data frame. So in the data frame directly we are passing the dictionary. Okay, so this is what directly we are passing dictionary. Otherwise, we can keep the dictionary in the variable and we can put it. Okay, so let me just create this. Okay, so what we are creating, sample missing data frame we are creating. So it has created. Now sample missing. So let's write here sample missing. Okay, you can see sample missing is displaying like that. And after that, if I write the drop NA, okay, so sample drop NA. So what it is doing basically? So it has removed one record, right? Okay, so you can see in this record there was a missing value. So based on that, it has removed that record, right? So this is what drop NA, right? Okay, so try to understand this very clearly. So as you can see, this score is what 88 is what Alex score, but this not NAN is the Vela's score, and 91 is Cherry's score. Okay, so you can see when I applied drop NA, so what it has done, it kept the Alex, it kept the Cherry's, but it has removed the Bella. So why it has removed Bella from the records from the data frame? So you can see the definition here. So you can see, okay, so why did drop NA remove Vela? So drop NA removes rows that contains missing values. Vela score is NaN, which means the value is missing. Okay, so this row will removed. Okay, because it is containing what NaN. If at least one NaN is containing in the record, so it will remove. Is removed from the output. By default, drop NA check full row and remove it if any column has missing value. Right. So hope you're understanding the use of drop NA. Okay, so now let's see handling duplicate records. So duplicate records can make analysis incorrect. So we should remove the duplicate records from our data set basically. So example problem, if one student appear twice, average score may become biased, right? So means if there are duplicate students, so analysis can be incorrect. So detecting and removing duplicates. So how we can detect and remove the duplicates? So df dot duplicate duplicated, df dot drop duplicates. So these are the two functions which we can use, and how we can use it. So you can see here we are writing pd dot concat. Okay, so this is for merging basically. So what we are doing, we are writing a data frame, and in the data frame we are writing the location, index location, which is 0, and ignore the index true. So what is the mean of this? It will remove, what? Duplicates records. Okay. Okay, so let's try to understand this. What do concat, ilog, and ignore index means? So, for example, this line we have written here, concat is there, and ilog is there, and ignore index is there. So, what are those? So, as we already know, ilog basically select the first row from the data frame, right, based on index. Okay, pd.concat. So what it will do, joins data frame together. So it will join data frame together, and here it adds the first row again at the bottom of df data frame, right? So ignore index 2 means reset the rows numbers after joining. Okay, so let's try to do it. So we have to create a variable duplicate data frame. Okay, duplicate df is equals to, we will write here pd.concat, pd.concat, and here write df comma df dot ilog, right? And we will write here index location, which is 0. Okay, after that write ignore case for reset the indexing. So, are you understanding, guys, why we are using here concatenate? I mean concat, because this is our previous data frame. So from the previous data frame, we are copying the first row, and the first row we are merging with original data set. So what happening is, like, we are having duplicate records. So what we are creating, duplicate data frame we are creating. How we are creating, let me show you here. So first of all, we have taken df. Actually, if you will see the df, for example, if I write df dot head and 0, so you can see these, we are talking about this data set. Okay, so here Alex is there. Let me take two. So this data set we are talking about. So what we will do, basically, we will take the first row, which is Alex row, and we will duplicate it. So how we are fetch the first row, with the help of this indexing. And this df is what, entire data frame. Df is what, entire data frame, and df dot ilog is what, the first row we are talking about. So we are duplicating it, and we are saying, and one more thing, what we are saying. Okay, and we are saying index, ignore index true, ignore index is equals to what, true, right? So if I will execute it, so it has executed. And now if I will print the duplicate data frame, duplicate data frame, so if I will execute, so you can see Alex is in first row, but Alex is in the last row. So now we got the duplicated data frame. Now we have to resolve the duplicacy. So for this, we have to clean. So for, in order to clean the operation, and I mean clean the records, we will use drop duplicates. So what drop duplicates will do, it will remove the duplicate rows. So from the duplicate data frame, okay, duplicate df, right? So what we have to write, what we have write, drop duplicate. Okay, drop duplicate is a function, drop underscore duplicates, right? And we can write here clean df, clean data frame, right? So this is what we have to mention, and we will get the clean data frame. Now let's print the clean data frame, and you can see here Alex is on the top, but at bottom there is no Alex. So this is how we can remove the duplicate rows. Okay, here you can see this is our duplicate data, and this is our clean data. right? So you can clean by removing the duplicates. Okay, so working with data types. So this is one of the interesting topic. So data types uses, the data type issues are common in real data set. Okay, so what are the example of it? Marks stored as a text instead of numbers, dates stored as a string, yes or no values stored inconsistently. Okay, so correct data types are important for calculation and analysis. So we should make sure the column type and the value is currently registered in the column or not. Okay. Okay, so if you will write here D type, so it will tell the type of each column, right? So if I write here D type, df dot D type, okay, so let's write here df dot D type. Okay, it's types actually. So you can see it is showing object, it is telling the column data type, right? And the attendance is integer, and these all are the integers. So what operation we are performing it? Converting date column. Currently, enrollment date is stored as text or object. Okay, so enrollment date, here is the enrollment date, but we have to store it as a date column. So what we can do? So we will select the enrollment date column. Okay, so let's view the columns by writing df dot columns. So you can see this is the enrollment date column which is registered as object. So let's choose it. Let's pick it df dot enrollment date column. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to change the data type by writing pd dot to date time. Okay, so pd dot to date time, right? After that, what we have to do, we have to mention the that column name in the date time function df. Okay, so enrollment date. Okay, so it has done. Now let's see the df dot types. Okay, df dot D types. So you can see now the enrollment date is what? Date time type. Okay, so now it is not object or text type. This is what? Date time type, right? So now extracting date parts. Okay, so once a column is converted into date time, we can extract year, month, day, and week. Okay, so this is one of the important thing, how we can extract the date, month, and time. So what we are doing basically here, we are selecting the enrollment date column and we are fetching month name. Okay, and dt dot day we are fetching. So this, enrollment month and enrollment day we have to fetch. So we have to write df. Okay, so df enrollment month, right? Another is df enrollment day, right? Two things we are finding now. So now how we can find df dot, df, we will write the column name. So what is our actual column name is enrollment date. Okay, so what is the column name? Enrollment date. So from this we have to fetch the month. So we will write dot dt dot month name. Okay, so it will give month name and df enrollment date. Okay, dt dot day. So it will give the day. Let's execute it. Execute it successfully. Now let's write here df enrollment month. So Okay, how it is printing actually. Okay, so let's try to print like this by mentioning the columns. Okay, so this is the way of printing selected column. Means what we are doing, we are slicing kind of. We are choosing the column to print. So you can see this is printing, but why it is showing enrollment month like this? Okay, so we have to apply the function actually. So now let's execute it. Okay, so it is working fine. Okay, you guys can practice this code. Okay. Now let's see string operation in pandas. So what are the string operations we can perform? It is one of the simple topic. So you can convert the uppercase, you can convert the column text data into lowercase, and you can check whether the column is containing text or not, right? So for example, student upper, we are creating, we are converting our student name, right, into the student upper. So what we are doing, we are creating a new column which contain the capital name, I mean in uppercase. So df student, okay, and dot str dot upper, right, and we will write here df upper, what is the name, student upper. Okay, any name you can write, student underscore upper. Let's see, and let's try to print this student upper, as well as let's print student original. So what's the mistake here? Okay, so we have to give a list here because we are choosing more than one column. Okay, so you can see it is in uppercase and lowercase both. Similarly, what we can do, we can convert into the lowercase. Okay, and we can also check whether, okay, so lowercase is what? It's very simple. Just type here lower, okay, and here also, okay, why I am changing it? So this is the upper, just keep it here and make it lower, make it lower, make it lower, student lower. Okay, execute it, and now df student lower. Mistake is we have to keep list into it, and then next column is student. So you can see now student lower is in all the lowercase. Okay, so similarly, let's work on contain text or not. So student whose city name letter contains, I mean O. So they are checking the students which their city name containing O letter. So what we are doing, we are taking the city. So in the df, so in the df, what they are taking df city. Okay, and in the city, they are performing operation. Okay, so dot str dot contains, okay, dot contains, and what the letter name is O, and case is false. Okay, so either lowercase or uppercase, it will work with both. Okay, so case is what? False. After that, what we are doing, we are taking the student, means student names and their cities. So this data frame is completed till here. Okay, next data frame is now started from here. So what we will do, we will take student and city, right? So there is some mistake, open bracket, then close. Okay, so one should end here. Okay, now execute. So you can see the city which is containing O, it is printing. If I write the city which is containing I, that only print. So you can see the city which is containing I, it is printing Z. Okay, there is no city X, no city C. Okay, so this is how we can filter, or this is how we can select the cities which is containing the names, right? Okay, so now let's talk about group by and aggregation. Okay, so what is group by? Group by is one of the most important pandas concept. It helps answer questions like what is the average score by batch. Okay, so if you want to calculate the score of a batch, I mean you are grouping batches. I mean you are grouping students into a batch and you are taking the average, right? So such kind of answers you can give, and which city has the highest attendance, right? How many students are in each performance category. So such kind of answers you can give with group by and aggregation. Okay, simple explanation is what? Split data into groups, apply calculation and combine the results. Okay, so this is the hierarchy. One is split data into what? Groups. Okay, so what you are doing, you are grouping data, you are splitting data into group 1, group 2 and group 3, right? And on each group, what you are applying? You are applying some operation, some mathematical operations you are applying, right? Or like some calculation, and then combining whatever result is coming, right? So the results you are binding, right? So that is what the simple thing we do with group and aggregation. So average score by batch. Okay, so how you will calculate the average score by batch? So let's see it. Okay, so what is the syntax here? So the syntax which we have to follow, we have to write average score by batch. So first of all, we will take the data frame and we will apply group by function, right? And we will select the column. We will write the column name, right? After that, we will write the numeric column and we will write the, create the, I mean, calculate the mean, right? So you can say DF group by is what? Batch. And what we are doing, we are performing average score. Okay, and we are creating mean of that, right? So you can see here what it is doing, it is creating batch. Okay, and it is telling, so the mean of this group is what? This, and like that it is telling the average, right? Okay, so what it has done, it has created the batches So it has collected, it has grouped all A batches, all B batches, all C batches, and performed the aggregation, which is nothing but mathematical calculation it has done. So what it has done, it has created the calculation, right? So let me show you. First of all, let's see the data frame. Okay, so you can see this belongs to A group, I mean A batch, and this is also belongs to A batch. So all the students from A batch we are grouping. So how you can make the group? So in order to make the group, you have to write group by. Okay, so what condition you will write? Df dot group by, and after that you will write the column name. So what is the column you want to make groups based on batch column? I want to create the groups. So what is the column name? Batch, right? After that, what you want to do? I want to I want to create like I want to calculate the average score mean. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, so what we have to write here basically in a square bracket, average. Okay, so what would be the name of this average score? Average underscore score, and we have to calculate the mean. Okay, so it has grouped all the A columns. So we have three categories. One is A category, second is B category, and third is C category. Right? Or you can say we have three batches A, B, and C. Right? And it is displaying what average score. Right? If I write here average score like this, so yeah, sorry. So if I write average score, so it will display the average score like this. Okay. Okay. So you can see here numeric column name. So numeric column name is what? Average score. And you can see here is the average score column. So we are taking average score column and we are grouping batches, and we are calculating the mean. Okay, so this is how what you can do. You can apply group by and aggregation. So group by is one of the most important pandas concepts, right? So what we happen, how we apply group by and aggregation, split data into groups, apply calculation, combine the results. Okay, so that we have seen already. You can see here, calculate the average score student batch wise. So group by create groups and aggregations like mean, sum, count, right? Max, min gives final summary, right? Now you can say multiple aggregation. So how we can perform multiple aggregation? To perform the multiple aggregation, we have this syntax which you have to keep in mind. So df dot group by. So we will write the column on what column you, on the basis of what column you want to group the data, and then after that we will write dot agg, nothing but aggregation, and here we will pass one dictionary, so column and their mean. Okay, so how does it work? So what we are doing, we are performing aggregation like mean, and maximum and count. And what are the columns name? So these are the columns name, average score, attendance, projects. So what we are doing, we are grouping all the columns based on batch. Okay, on the based on batches. Okay, how many batches are there? Three batches, A, B, and C. So based on three batches, we are taking the average score, so means which batch is having highest average score and which uh, group is having more attendance. So this is how we are calculating. So let's create the batch summary. What's the variable name? Batch summary, right? So df, and after df we will write group by dot group by. After that, column name. So column name is what? Batch. On the basis of batch, we are going to group. Okay, then aggregation, right? And in the aggregation, what we will do, we can perform multiple. What we are going to perform multiple aggregation. Multiple aggregation means mean and a max count like that. Okay, so we are performing. So here we will write the column name and the operation. So first we are going to take average score. Okay, average score. What we are going to perform? Mean. So right here mean, comma. Then what is the next column name? Attendance. So attendance. Okay, so attendance mean I want to get. Right. Next column name is what? Next column name is project. So let's take a project column, project, and what we are going to take, we are going to perform maximum aggregation. Next column name is student. Let's take student here. And what's the aggregation we want to perform? Count. Okay, so now what we want to do, we want to rename. Okay, so the older column name we are changing. I mean, we are changing the column name. Okay, old to new we are doing. So we are changing student to student count, right? So here we will write dot rename. You guys can practice with me. And here we will write the column attribute. And here we will write column name. So what's the column name? Old column name is what? Student. Okay, so this is a student column. So this student column we are taking and we are converting it into the new, which is student count. Right, let's execute this. Okay, so what's the error here? Okay, it is saying there is no objects, I mean, no attribute called mean. Okay, we have put s, that's why it was wrong. So if I create type here variable batch summary, okay, so you can see the data. Okay, so it is showing batch. So we have total 3 batches. Average score of all the batches, this is. Average attendance of all the batches, this is. And average project score of all the batches, this is. Average student count in all the batches, this is. Okay, in batch A, 6 student. In batch, okay, so this is project score means it is taking maximum. Okay, and student count, it is taking number of student in each batch. So group by and aggregation we have seen here. Okay, so now let's talk about counting categories with value count. So you can see here df column name. What is the syntax? Df, we will write the column name, their values, then underscore counts. Okay, can you see the syntax? So you can see here we will write the value underscore count. So it will tell us the performance label. Okay. Mm. So how it is working basically? So it is taking the performance label. So there is a performance column. In the performance columns, there is good and excellent performance need practice. So like that, we have such performance labels. So we have to count in our data set how many such labels are there. So first of all, we should know, like, in our data frame there is a performance label column or not. So how we can check? We will write df dot columns. Right. So if you will write df dot columns, you can see there is a performance label column. So if you will write here df dot head, and if you will write here 5, so it will tell you 5 rows it will give. And you can see here, this is the category performance label good, excellent. Okay, because it is more than this, I'm showing you the little one only. So you can see this. So I want to count the labels, how many total labels are there, such labels are there. So what can I do for this? For this, I need to write this df performance label and then value underscore count, right? So let's write here df performance label, then value underscore count, right? So, okay, so this is the function basically. So it is telling good label is label R5, excellent label R5, needs practice label is 3, and support required 4. So these are the different label. There are 4 categories, and you can say num count of each category is here, right? So this is how you can get counting categories with values count, right? Now let's discuss about pivot table. So what's the mean of pivot table? A pivot table summarizes data in a matrix format. It is similar to Excel pivot table, right? So what is the syntax of it? So the syntax is basically we will write PD. So inside the pandas, there is a pivot underscore table, and we will pass here our data and then values. Okay. And in values, we will assign a numeric column and then index, row group, and column group, and aggregate function we will give. So you can see here, we are writing here pivot is a variable we are creating in the and pd dot pivot table, and here we are passing data. Data is nothing but we are passing data frame, and values we are giving as an average score, right? So average score is what numeric column as per the requirement. Index we are giving as a city, row group. Okay. So the row for group, so we have seen city, we have given the city, and we are giving column is what, Um, and column group would be based on batch, and the aggregate function would be mean. So you can see here, so batches are what, ABC, and cities are what, so these are the cities name, Chicago, Boston, so like that. So these many cities we have, and these are the batches, and it is showing each batch, it is showing average. Okay, so each batch average, it is showing city wise, right? So this is how we can take the summary. Let's try to do it. So first of all, what we will do, we will create pivot, any variable you can create. So I created pivot, and then pd dot pivot underscore table. Now after that, what we will do, we will pass the data, value, columns, and aggregate function. So df is a data. Okay, we can say df is a data, and then after that we have to pass values. So values as like average underscore score, right? Next we have to pass index. So index is what, city. Okay, and next is what, columns, and columns is what, batch, and after that aggregate function. Okay, so this is what, mean, right? So this is how we have created this pivot table. And now if you will write here pivot to see the data summary, so you can see here. So these are the batches, okay, grouping based on batches, right? And indexing is based on city, okay. So you can see here row group, okay. So in index, what we write? We write the row group. So these are the rows. You can say city become rows, okay. And if you want to write differently, so it will work, okay. So for example, if you want to write values as what, okay, so values should be your numeric column only. But if you want to make index is what, batches, and columns you want to create city, so that is also work, okay. So cities, you can see cities, and these are the batches, okay. And this is batches and city wise average score it is displaying, right? Okay. So the next thing is what, cross tabulation. So what is this cross tabulation? So cross tab is useful for counting combinations of categories. Example, how many students from each batch fall into each performance level. So for example, you can see here PD cross tab, tab means table, and you can see here we are writing data frame and the column name, and again data frame and another column name. So what we are doing, we are creating the multiple groups. Okay, so what it will do, it will give performance label, and it is giving what? It is giving batch. I mean, it is getting category. It is giving the categories, right? So it is telling each student falling in performance label. Okay, so are you understanding? If you are not understanding, please try to read this line once again. So it is telling how many students from each batch fall into each performance label. So what we are doing, we are taking performance as well as batch. So we are taking the frequency between two grouping, means we are checking label and batch. Right. So label is what? Excellent. And batch is what? A. So in A batch, excellent having four categories having excellent, two categories, two frequency is for good, need zero frequency in A batch, and support required in zero is what? Zero. So you might be asking like what's the difference between cross tabulation and pivot table? So pivot table basically when we want to perform some aggregation, some calculation in order to some creating the summary, and cross tabulation is what means if you want to combine categories, combine combinations of categories you want. So one category is performance label, second category is what? Batch. So with two categories, we are checking the frequency of each category. So you can understand it by rule. So you use cross tab when you want counts. Use pivot table when you want calculation like average, sum, max, or min. Right? Now let's try to understand one of the important function, which is map, replace, and lambda. So these methods helps transform values, right? So you can see map method. So useful for converting values into using a dictionary. Replace, useful for replacing specific values, and lambda useful for writing small one line function. Okay, so lambda is what? For inline function. Okay, so using map, you can see. So the syntax of map function is what? You will write df and the column name, then map, and then you will write the dictionary. So you can see here summation map. So you can say yes associated by 1 and no associated by 0. Right. So what we are doing, we are creating a column which is assignment flag, and you can see here df assignments submitted dot map submission, right? So what we are doing here, basically, we are adding the flag. Okay, we are adding the flag by creating the dictionary. If assignment submitted yes, then the flag will be one, otherwise it will be no, right? So hope you are understanding what I'm trying to say. Map useful for converting values into a dictionary, right? So it has converted values into the dictionary. Okay, so let me explain it more. Right, so you can see this is map and containing one dictionary, and dictionary containing what? Yes and no. One is yes, zero is for no, right? And we are creating a new column which is assignment flag. So you can see here, so it is categorizing based on yes and no. So let's create a dictionary. Okay, what's the dictionary name? Submission map. Next, what we have to do, we have to create values. Okay, yes is for 1, no is for 0, right? So like that, we have created. Now we have to create a new column in the data frame. So we will write here df and assignment flag, right? And after that, we will write the pre-existing column name, which is assignment submitted. Okay, so we will write here df assignment submitted, and after that we will apply map over it, and after applying the map we will pass this dictionary. Okay, submission map. So let's execute this. Now let's try to print what? Let's try to print these three columns: student, assignment submitted, and assignment flag, right? So df pass list student and assignment submitted, and after that we will display one more column which is assignment flag. Okay, so you guys have to practice, because without practice you cannot understand this. Okay, so error are the part of the journey, so do not bother about errors. Okay, so it is saying student is not there, but spelling is incorrect. So now you can see it is displaying. Okay, yes, it is saying 1, and no, it is saying 0. So we are adding a new feature in a data set which is telling assignment submitted or not in a numerical way. Right, now let's use the lambda function. So we can write the inline function with lambda function. So you can see here the syntax: df and column name, then apply. Okay, apply is a function, and lambda, and this is the argument, and this is the expression. So let's write it. Df attendance apply. Okay, so let me just copy it. So you can see here, we are applying the lambda function. Try to read it from here. So this x means it will give the attendance and of each student, and based on the attendance it will tell the regular or irregular, right? So when it is regular, if the condition, okay, so let me just explain it clearly. So you can see it will take the attendance from the attendance column and the attendance will come here, right? Now this if condition will evaluate, right? If the if condition is true, it will go here. If it is true, if it is false, then it will go here. Okay, let's suppose if a student attendance is 75%, then which criteria it is following? Is it 75 is greater than or equals to 80? No, right? So this is what irregular student, right? And it is we are creating a new column which is collecting the attendance status, right? So what is the attendance status? Either regular or irregular, right? So these two status are there. After that, we are printing the student names and attendance status, nothing but regular or irregular. So what we applied? We applied lambda function. What is this apply? Apply will take each value from the attendance. Each student attendance will take from the attendance column and it will give to the lambda function, and lambda function will execute it and predict the and not predict, but it will actually give the status, right? So let me just execute it. Okay, so you can see it is giving the status. If it is attendance below 85, irregular, and equal to 85, regular, above the 85, then regular. Okay, so this is how we can collect the attendance status, right? After that, we have merging data frame. So merging data frame means in real project, data is often stored in multiple tables. So one table has a student score, another table has mentor details, another table has placement status. So pandas allow us to combine them using merge function, right? So creating the mentor dataset. So you can see here is the mentor dataset. So what we are doing, okay, let me just copy it and let me explain it to you guys. Okay, so what we are doing, we are creating a data frame. Okay, and data frame we are creating with what? Dictionary. You can see this is a dictionary and this dictionary will be converted into data frame. And in the dictionary, you can see this is the key. Batch is a key, mentor is a key, and weekly support hours is a key. Okay, so you can see here batches are what? A, B, C, and mentor is what? These are the mentors, and weekly support hours are these. Okay, so so this is what mentor data we have created. So let's execute it. So this is what mentor data. Similarly, we have merge option. So merge work with left data frame and right data frame. So it will take left and right data frame on column. Okay. And how? Left. Okay. So what is the mean of this? So left data frame main table. So it will take the main table, and right data frame is what? Table to join. Okay. On column, common column. Okay. So you can understand it like this. For example, we have two tables. One is table A, okay, table 1, or we can say table 2. So in the left data frame, main table. So this is what? Main table, right? And right table to join. So this is a right table, and this is for join table to join, right? And on On what column? So there should be a common column. Let's suppose ID is here and ID is here. So both IDs are common. Okay, so both IDs are common. And how? Type of join. So what type of join we want to create? So there are different common types of joins are there. There is a left join, right join, inner join, and outer join. When we talk about left join, keep all rows from left data. So it will fetch all the rows from the left table and right when you are applying the right join. So keep all the rows from the right table. So right join will take all the rows from the right table. So it is similar like SQL joins. Okay, when we talk about inner, so keep only matching joins. Let me show you this so that you can get more clarity, right? So let me just show you this. Okay, types of join. Okay, so you can see left join means it will take entire left table and it will take the common values from the right table. Not all the values, but common part from the table. Okay, you can say this is a left table, this is the right table. When you are applying join, so it will take all the rows from the right table, but it will take the common rows from the left table. You can see it is not taking all the rows, but common rows. All the rows it is taking from the right table. Are you understanding, guys? Don't sleep, please understand it. Inner join means it will not take any record from the left table, any record from the right table, but it will take the common record from both the tables. Okay, full join means it will take left, right as well as common. So this is what full join. I hope you are understanding this. Okay. So what we are trying to do here, we are performing the merge operation. Let's see it here. Okay, so you can see this is the merge function and we passed data frame and we have passed one more data frame which is mentor data frame. So it will merge two data frame on basis of what? On the basis of batch, and which join we are going to create? Left join. So left join means it will give all the data from left table but common data from the right table. So what we are going to display? Student name, student batch, mentor, and weekly support hours. Okay, so this is we are going to print. So you can see it is printing all the details. It has merged two data. See here in this data frame, you can see mentor's information is there, student information is there. But if you will take the mentor information only, so there is no student information over it. So what we are doing, we are merging data frame and mentor data frame all together. Okay, which operation we are taking? We are taking left join, right? Now exporting data. So exporting data means you can export the data in CSV or some other format as well. So syntax is what? df dot to underscore CSV and file name and index is false. So you can see why index is false. So it's prevent pandas from saving rows index as an extra column. Okay, so row index, it will create extra column. That is why we keep it false so that there should not be any extra column. So what it will do, it will convert into the CSV. CSV is what? Comma separated value. So what is the file name? Clean student performance, right? Index is false and it will give it successfully. Okay, so exporting means extracting data from already used data frame. Okay, so we are exporting data, right? So this is the method you can use. So actually run it. So what it is showing? File exported successfully. Okay, is it really exported? Okay, so you can see clean student performance values. It is showing when I open it. Okay, so you can see this is the file which have downloaded or extracted from the data set. Okay, and this is into what? CSV. Okay, so it is into what? CSV format. Okay, so exporting is complete. Now, quick visualization with pandas. So, what we will do, pandas can create simple plots using dot plot. Visualization help communicate insight clearly. For advanced visualization, libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plot Plotly are commonly used. Okay, so pandas is not basically for visualization, but some basic visualization it can do, as you can see here. So this is the code. Okay, so I'm giving this code for you to practice. So you guys can take the screenshot and practice this, right? And try to print the visualization, try to understand this code, right? So it is very simple. So you can see there is a figure size. So uh, this is what width and height it is taking, and the title also we are taking. So title is what average score by batch. You can see it is written here. So this is your task, guys. So this is also you can do. Okay. So next crash course we will create based on Matplotlib, where I will teach you all the visualization. But as of now, you can practice this by yourself. Okay. So you can see this and you can practice this. So top five students by average score. Okay. And scatter plot attendance versus average score. So you can create the scatter plot as well. So you can see here attendance versus average score. So this is the average score and this is the attendance, right? So the person having good attendance having the great average score. If the attendance is very low, average score is very low. So this is what correlation. Okay, so mini project, student performance analysis dashboard. Okay, so what is the problem statement? You are working as a junior data analyst for an online learning program. The academic teams want to understand student performance and identify student who may need support. So questions to answers are what? Who are the top five performer? Which students need academic supports? Which batch has the best average score? Does attendance appear related to performance? How many students are excellent? The right. So how many students are excellent, good, need practice or support? So these are the management questions. So we have to answer these all of the questions with a proper dashboard kind of things. So here is we have data frame. Okay, so we are creating it into the project data frame. So let's do it here. Okay. So it has created. Now top 5 performer, how you will see the top 5 performers? We will create the sort value, which we have already learned. So I'm just copying and pasting it. So top 5 performers you can get, right? So these are the top 5 performers based on ex excellent labels. You can identify them based on average score. You can identify them. After then, students who need support. So we can take average score below 70, attendance below 75, assignment submission is no. So such students required what? Academic support. Okay, so these are the students' name. Now the next one is batch label summary. So we will create the batch label summary. Okay, if you want to see if the management want to see the batch wise summary, so we can show the batch wise summary as well, right? Now the next is what? Final insight summary. Okay, so final insight summary means, okay, so you can see here, this is the final insight summary. So best performing batch is what? Batch A with average score 88.38. Number of excellent students are 5. Okay, and students needing support are what? 4. Recommendations are what? Focus mentoring on student with low attendance, missing assignment, or average score below 70, right? Now the interviews ready questions are what? So these are the interviews ready questions, like what is Pandas? So Pandas is Python library used for data manipulation and analysis, mainly for structured tabular data, right? What is the difference between series and data frame? One of the hot question for the interview. A series is one dimensional, while a data frame is two dimensional with rows and columns. So it is very simple and easy definition. What is the use of head? Head displays the five first few rows for a data frame and helps quickly inspect data. Difference between log and ilog, important question, very much important question. So log select data using label, okay, based on label, and while ilog select the data using integer position, means based on indexing. So why do we use group by? So group by is used to split data into groups, right? And apply aggregation function like mean, sum, count, min, max, like that. Why handling missing data important? So as you already know, missing data can affect calculation, model training, and final insight. So it must be handled properly. What is feature engineering? So you can see here, feature engineering means creating new useful columns for existing data to improve analysis or machine learning performance, right? What is the use of merge? Merge combines two data frame using a common column, similar to joins in SQL, as we have discussed. So important pandas methods cheat sheet. So you can refer this cheat sheet. So head shows first 5 rows is display, then tail. So tail shows last rows. Okay, so what it display? It display last 5 rows, and info gives structured null count data types. Okay, such information it gives, and describe gives the statistical summary, okay, of the data frame. Then shape tells the rows and columns tells the number of columns and their names. basically it tells the column names. Is null dot sum counts count missing values. Okay, then drop NA, remove the missing rows, fill NA, fills the missing values, duplicate, deletes duplicate rows, and drop duplicates, remove duplicate rows. Okay, duplicated, detect duplicates, and drop duplicates, uh, remove the duplicate rows, right? And then after that, we have sort values. So sort the data, okay, and value counts category frequency, right? And group by group and summarize the data. And aggregation, AGG means aggregation, applies multiple aggregation as we have already seen. Pivot table creates summary table, and applies custom function. Okay, so for example, at the time of lambda, we have used this. At the time of calling performance function, we use this. Then we have seen maps values using the dictionary, merge used to join two data frame, right? And to CSV, like if you want to export the data frame, so you can use the to CSV export data frame. Okay, so beginner to intermediate practice task is what? Try these tasks to your own. Shows only students from batch A. Okay, so take these questions, guys. Take the screenshot and please do it and write in the comment section. I can understand very few people are watching this video right now because nobody can complete because in the starting many people will come and go. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about those curious people who came here and is still watching the video. So I'm giving you a task, guys. Please take these questions and put the answer in the comment box. Whatever code you will write, any code you are writing, please write in the comment of the video section so that I can understand this video is definitely benefiting of few learners at least. So please show your progress in the comment box so that I can feel like my efforts is not wasting, right? And final wrap up is what? Create and inspect data frames, select rows and column, filter data using conditions we have seen, clean missing and duplicate values, work with string and dates. We worked on create new column, group and summarize data, merge data set, and then we have said a scene build a mini analysis project. Okay, so in the next class and in the next crash course, we will discuss this matplotlib and cbound for visualization, exploratory data analysis for project, SQL plus pandas. Okay, so such kind of this is just a agenda for the upcoming crash courses. Okay, so definitely we will come up with these courses. So thank you everyone for giving your valuable time. So only your task is to work on this. Okay, so thanks for giving your valuable time and practice, guys. This is one of the simple crash course, so you can practice. And if any challenge, anything you are not understanding, please write in the comment section. I'll try to answer your query. Okay, so do not think nobody will respond my comment. I will definitely respond to your comment. So thank you everyone for giving your valuable time. Bye all of you.